When the day is fresh and the air is soft and it's too warm to sit at the library hearth, I like to wander far beyond the palace grounds into the forest and collect plant specimens. There are some fascinating species growing in the forest. In particular, there is a shaded pool set deep within the trees and bracken where, last week, I found some truly remarkable pondweed. I'd never seen anything like it before. It seemed to shimmer and sparkle when I touched it. I found something else there, too, while I was busy collecting samples from around the water's edge. A lady. I was bending close to the surface of the water, examining a particularly glutinous strand of weed, when I suddenly felt oddly uncomfortable, as though I were being watched. Which, as it turned out, was not at all surprising because I was being watched. There was a woman, sitting cross-legged at the edge of the pool, just a few feet away from me. I confess she gave me quite a turn when I first saw her. I nearly fell headfirst into the pond, for how on earth had she come to be there without attracting my notice? She had not been sitting there when I first arrived, had she? If she had, I had not observed her, and indeed, that was no small wonder, for her appearance blended so well with her forest surroundings that, had I noticed anything at all, I might have mistaken her for a bush or a larger-than-normal water lily. Indeed, her skin was pale and translucent, like a water lily, and her clothes seemed to flicker and rustle as leaves do in a wind. "What brings you to the wood?" she asked me. This seemed like a rather informal start to our introduction, but it made a change from palace pomp and procedure. So I told her. I explained that I was making a study of strange pondweed, and she showed me how, if you took up a strand and wrapped it between your fingers, it would change colour. Quite extraordinary. "You enjoy spending time in the wood," the lady said. "You prefer nature to artifice, I think." I replied that indeed I did, and began to tell her more of my studies. I quite forgot myself in my enthusiasm, and talked far more readily than I usually do. Yet I felt quite calm in her presence. And for once, I was able to find exactly the right words to describe my thoughts. We were soon chatting away quite companionably. I offered to share my lunch with her, and we sat under a tree and took our repast in the most comfortable manner possible. And it was then that the thought struck me. I never do this. I never simply sit and enjoy that quiet, easy companionship that makes up the bond between human beings. There are always formalities to observe, people to attend to, rules and etiquette to follow, and no one really to talk to. To my utter mortification, I suddenly found that there were tears rolling down my face. I begged the lady's pardon, but she waved away my apologies and said, "You're lonely." To which I could only reply, "Yes."